So I wanted to tell my story about what I have created. So I created a ergonomic attachment for a machine, a tattoo machine that is the Slim Grip. And I kind of wanted to just talk about the story in which that came about. So for those of you that don't know me or are watching this later, I am Mandy and this is Pretty in Ink. I have been a cosmetic tattooer now for almost 13 years, so June will be 13. It's quite a journey. So I started out with a traditional rotary machine, which was a needle and tube setup, and my tubes were usually about a 1-inch grip to 1.5. So just to give you an idea, I have some like old grips here where the needle would actually go through here. Today they actually have more of a cartridge that you just implant click into machines these days. But anyway, so this was like the original grip size that I used to use, and I did that for about 8 years, I believe. And then I sort of drank the Kool-Aid and purchased a Slim Grip, a very slim tattoo machine that was specifically made for cosmetic tattooers at the time, and my hand paid for it. I went from, this diameter down to like this little diameter and even smaller because the cartridge for these is down here. So when you have your hand kind of curled up like this on somebody's eyebrows, it proposes a problem. Not only are you so constricted, you start to feel like aches and pains, and I think it was probably within, a week, maybe a week, 2 weeks, when I realized like switching the diameters was going to affect my work. So I reached out to one local company and a few other companies on options that could be made for our cosmetic tattoo machines. So kept hitting dead ends. So naturally you just start wrapping the machine a lot, and you just wrap it with like paper towels and like grip tape and stuff like that, just to give yourself like a bigger grip so that you can actually like work in the skin. I worked with that machine for about 4 years, but during that time I had it in my brain that I really know that everyone's going to transition from microblading to machine. So I started with machine, microblading took off, and then I knew that everyone was going to start to revisit the machine. It's just natural. Microblading was created as a semi-permanent option, and it actually was made to fade. So that was the selling point, was like, get microblading, it's semi-permanent, it's gonna fade, it doesn't stay, it's not permanent. So eventually clients love having their brows so much, they want an alternative and they want something more. So the machines are coming back, with the powder brows. That's huge. And I'm seeing like a big influx on nano brows. So using a single needle, you can use other needle groupings and stuff. But machine work is coming in hot. So I wanted to speak about a little bit about my journey on creating the grip, and how I really needed something. So I came up with it myself. It's taken quite a few years to kind of, marinate, I guess, to figure out which direction to go with an idea like this, because it's so niche and it's so specialized. Thinking about your hand and the health of your hand, and like, it's not a very popular topic at all. Nobody wants to think about what could happen to your hand. Well, whenever I started to feel awareness in my hand, was pretty quick. But then some of the numbness started to happen within a year to 2 years. And simultaneously, my mother had carpal tunnel, like deep, like she was in it and going to surgery. So at the same time, I'm, you know, in my career, it would have been 10 years, I think. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like I'm already starting to feel like awareness in my hand because I was only doing hair strokes with a machine or microblading. I was not even really shading. Very few requests for shading any longer from me, but it was all machine hair strokes, and just to do those little tiny hair strokes throughout the entire brow, so precise, was killing my hands. So at the same time, my mother was going through her injury, her surgery. She taught me like some exercises, and I had gotten into yoga. Yoga really helped keep my hand stretched out. So some of the positions like downward dog and just, I mean, getting your hand pressed back really helped. So thankfully I have curbed the effects from that machine, and I have since sort of switched multiple different machines and work a little bit differently. But that is my story on why I decided to develop the grip. So I'm gonna be talking about this a lot because machine work is becoming so much more prominent when it comes to single needle work, and these little machines, the slimmer style, are very attractive, especially if you have a smaller hand. But we wanna think about the longevity of what is gonna happen when a machine is, you know, vibrating and you're squeezing it to hold control at such a small diameter in your hand. So naturally we want to try to like pay attention to like open up the grip and create fluidity with our hands. So anyway, thank you for watching and letting me share with you my story, and this is going to keep coming up more and more and more as I start to find more professionals and stuff that have been working with machine for a while and wanting to like tell their story and things that they may do to keep maintenance. So anyway, that is it. Everyone have a fabulous day, and we'll see each other soon.